Hi, this is Christy with Guidepost to Wellness. Welcome back for all of those of you that have watched my videos before, and many of you notice that I'm outside again. Those that watch my videos know I like to do them outside. I like to be outside whenever I can, and it's been a long winter. And welcome to all of those of you that are new. This channel, Guidepost to Wellness, talks about anything and everything that has to do with your health. And today what I actually wanted to talk about is daylight savings, because this is kind of a controversial subject, and I know that I've done some blog articles, maybe even some videos on daylight savings in the fall. That's the one that I struggle with the most. Getting an extra hour of sleep is nice, but I struggle with the abrupt change in the end of the day when the daylight gets shorter and going home from work and it being dark right away. That's what I struggle with in the fall. And interestingly enough, I was just reading up that several lawmakers have put forth the Sunshine Protection Act in the United States, and I want to say that there's at least 17 plus states that have legislation already ready for Congress to approve the change, and I think that there are 25 or more that are total that are considering or proactively looking into the change and everything like that. So what's interesting is studies show that when you spring forward and you make the change in the spring and we actually lose an hour of sleep, studies do show that in the springtime that there is a spike in heart attacks, car accidents, definitely in the first week. But medical professionals and those of you that watched before know that I'm big on sleep and quality sleep, and we as a nation are sleep deprived, that losing that extra hour of sleep can be rather devastating. It actually also affects safety performance on the job. I work for a transportation company, so that's definitely significant for us, but any company that works with major machinery where fatigue could be a factor can see an increase in work-related injuries after daylight savings in the spring. So the Sunshine Protection Act wants to keep daylight savings the way it is right now. So that means that we would have the longer days. And what's interesting is Russia in, 2011 through 2014, they decided to keep and make daylight savings permanent. But one of the big factors that people don't like about daylight savings, especially in the wintertime, is that it gets light much later in the morning. Pardon me. So kids going to school and going to work and things like that, the day starts a lot later. Well, people disliked it so much in the wintertime that Russia actually switched in 2014 and went to permanent standard time, which is what we're on right now. And that's what's interesting is, some countries it's a non-issue. They are either around the equator or they are so high up when it comes to, I think it's latitude, I always get those two mixed up, that are at more northern or southern, where the shift in their days in the wintertime versus the summertime is so dramatic. For example, they've got 20 some hours of daylight. That daylight savings time has no benefit to them, so they just keep standard time. But my husband and I were having a discussion about that, wishing it would just stay. Pick one or the other. Now, he's a little bit more of a night owl than I am, and so he wanted it to stay light longer. And I can see his point, except for the fact that, and medical professionals also recognize this, is that in the summertime, that when it's light later, if you do need to get to sleep, for example, you have a really early flight, or if you have children that you're trying to get to bed and it's still light out, that can really impact their health. The other factor is, and I've talked about this, I know for sure, in a blog post, because I found this was really interesting, talking about circadian rhythms versus social rhythms, and how people want to have more time after work and after school and things like that, but the detriment of that is that it comes out of their sleep time, and that's one of the reasons why we're so sleep deprived. And I can't remember who the quote is. If I find it, I'll put it below in the comments. I think it's in my article that I wrote about one of the worst inventions ever for health of humanity was the light bulb because it totally skewed us away from our natural rhythms. And that's why, I think I'm more of a standard time person, because I just do go to bed earlier sometimes in the summertime, so that can be a challenge when it's still light outside, and having to try to block out the light so that you sleep better and things like that. But really, to me, the bigger impact is just pick one or the other. So I'm curious what your thoughts are down below. Do you look forward to the change in the springtime, but feel really tired, losing that hour of sleep? Do you like having it later and you want to keep the permanent Sunshine Protection Act and keep daylight savings? Do you want just one or the other? Just pick one. Are you like me? I'd love to hear your thoughts. So definitely wanted to call this out, because it is important to recognize that this is going to happen and we're going to lose an hour of sleep, most of us, especially those of us like me that work on Sundays and still have to get up at the same time. So the key thing too is, remember, don't take long naps to try to make up for that sleep, because if you take a longer than about 20-minute cat nap, you'll end up affecting your ability to sleep at night. And really, really watch the caffeine, folks, because if you're having caffeine more than 4 to 6 hours before you want to go to sleep, that's going to affect you. Also realize that maybe one glass of wine or something might help you relax a little, but anything more than that actually affects your REM sleep and your quality of your sleep. So trying to help yourself unwind over the next week so you get some better sleep. Alcohol is not the key to that either. So I'm going to put some links for my other videos down below, because sleep and rest are definitely one of the 4 foundations of wellness that I focus on a lot. So I'll put some more links down below. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. I know I'm really glad that springtime is here. I can be outside. So whether it's daylight savings or not, I'm just glad the weather's getting warmer. So look forward to hearing from you. Take care. Be well.